I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laakson.
I am Francisco Cerundolo,
and
you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It is semi-final time. That's right. Sorry for not bringing this earlier. Obviously, there were quite a few events going on in the UK. As all of you around the world are probably aware, Queen Elizabeth has passed away. So there has been, quite a lot of mourning, I think I'd say, in the UK. And news that's really taken some time just to really sink in, I think, with the whole nation. So we've taken our time, paid our respects, and I'm sure the whole world will pay their respects over the coming weeks. So yeah, but we're here to talk about the tennis, aren't we, JG?
Yeah, it sort of come out of the blue a little bit. I wasn't expecting the news with the Queen. It all happened quite soon. And obviously it is extremely sad. So, hopefully we can try and bring some light to your day. It's been a bit of a dark day, but the tennis is still going ahead. We've got the US Open. This is the semi-finals. We'll be doing the men's and the women's on this same video. And of course, we're going to be covering the women's semi-final first on the watch-along, which will be Ons Jabeur, Caroline Garcia. So a really excited one to start with.
Yeah.
But in this preview, let's go through the matches. We've not really spoke about it together. I did a news video earlier on Alcaraz Sinner. But what was your take on that matchup before we get into this one?
I mean,
it was dubbed as like the match of one of the matches of the decade. When I think the US Open said that one of the greatest matches in history. They went all the extreme to. I don't know if it's that great, but it was really good.
Yeah, I think just for drama. I don't know if it's just something that these two are going to bring to the courts every time that they play each other, but it seems to happen. The desire from Alcaraz is just something to behold, and Jannik Sinner is just becoming better and better every time you see him on a tennis court. He's just like a fine margin away every time from greatness, I feel, Jannik Sinner, and it'll come. I don't think that this is going to be like the highest ceiling for him, but Alcaraz, I mean, just some of the stuff he does on the court, it's just incredible. It blows your mind, like just watching him do crazy backhand hits behind his back and like sliding on hard courts, running around, saving match points. Incredible. I mean, 5 hours, 15 minutes. I think I read he'd played like over 10 hours in his last two matches, and yet he still stayed behind for 30 minutes afterwards to sign autographs, everything, and got into a press conference at 3:30 a.m. That is ridiculous. I mean, they need to change some of the timings if that's the way that it's going to end up for some of these players.
Well, I don't think they expected the match to go on, Ben, for 5 hours and 15 minutes. So that's part of it.
Yeah, but it's happened before and it will happen again. I mean, that's the latest one ever. But we had Djokovic Zverev, and that was like a pretty late one, if I remember rightly. And that one went 5 sets as well. So it's not the first time. It probably won't be the last time. I'm sure everybody just likes the drama, to be honest. But it was a dramatic match. I thought it was incredible. I think these are the two standout people who are going to take the men's game forward, and they put on another display. And I said, even before that kicked off, this is probably going to be match of the tournament.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it certainly did deliver. It was match of the tournament. But before we go on to whether you think Alcaraz can now go on to win the whole thing, let's start with the women. I'll bring up the tweets because we have here Caroline Garcia, Ons Jabeur, the first semi-final up. We'll be covering it on the channel. And here we've got only 2 victories separate 4 of the world's top female players from their first US Open championship. Here's how the physical factors stack up in the women's semi-final. And we've got some stats here. And this is the physicality index. We've got Caroline Garcia 2.2, Ons Jabeur 4.1. Distance covered. Ons Jabeur's covered a lot more distance. Workload, she's got more units. High speed distance, she wins on that. Explosive movement, she has that as well.
Wow.
However, I still fancy Caroline Garcia because despite all of them stats I've just mentioned, let me bring this up. She was ranked outside the top 70 and hadn't reached the final in 3 years as recently as June. Now she's won 31 of her last 35 matches and is on a 13-match winning streak. So moreover, prior to last month's Cincinnati title run, she had never reached a final above WTA 250 level outside of China. So this is just uncharted territory. She's been on tour for ages. And let's be honest, she's just been a bit of a journeywoman. She's not done very much at all. And all of a sudden this year, she won the doubles at Roland Garros. Now we're looking at her as like the new Iga Swiatek. I mean, no one can stop her.
It's
what a
pretty
rise.
mad.
It just goes to show, Ben, if you don't give up on your dreams, you could be the next Caroline Garcia. Keep plugging away. Maybe one day you might get a set against me.
Maybe I will. I mean, it's one of those things, I think, in this one, that it's quite crazy to see someone's game style suddenly come all the way back to its best and more, really. I feel like she's playing the best tennis of her career. I mean, like we've said, people have different peaks in their career at different times. And the same thing we said for Karatsev when he suddenly broke on the scene. He was like 27 years old. And that it can happen at any time for a player. I mean, luckily for Garcia, she was already number 4 many years ago. And now she's coming all the way back to that type of form again. Just the tennis she plays, we're only used to seeing from Iga. And, well, this year, I'd say. And she's now doing the same thing that she is, taking balls early, finishing them off when they're in the middle of the court, and serving really well, which is one thing Iga hasn't really been doing in this tournament.
Yeah, the last French Slam champion was in 2013. So she's really flying the flag for France at the moment. If she can do something historic and go all the way and win it, that would be special.
Who was that? Was that Bartley? I don't know. I was guessing.
I don't have that number. I don't have that data right now, but I'm sure someone will be able to let us know in the live chat right now. You're probably right, to be honest. I don't remember. I wasn't even born in 2013. You got to remember, I'm quite young.
Yeah, he's a whippersnapper.
But yeah, let's talk about this matchup specifically. Ons Jabeur coming into this event, I didn't really fancy her too much, but she has been rather impressive, beating some big opponents. I thought the Kudermetova one was good. The last round was who? Remind me. Tomljanovic was even better. That was straight sets as well.
Yep.
And she's surprised me. Caroline Garcia's not surprised me. That's the difference. I mean, I'm coming into this one, you kind of would have expected her to get this far. The only one I thought she would have maybe struggled a little bit more with was the Coco Gauff one. And she didn't. Coco did okay, but Garcia just had too much power and strength. And she didn't even serve very well. I remember most of that match, she was on like 48% first serves. Yeah. So it just goes to show, if Garcia gets her serving together, I don't think Ons Jabeur has a chance. For me, I'm going to go straight with a prediction. Caroline Garcia wins this match in straight sets.
How many times have we ruled Ons out this tournament? She keeps proving us wrong.
There we go. I've done it again.
Well, I'm probably going to be going with Garcia, but I can't rule Ons out for a set. Look how well she's played. Like, the only person she's dropped a set to is Shelby Rogers. And I was sort of bigging her up quite a lot before the tournament, thinking she was going to have a really big tournament. I think I had her knocking Ons out actually in my bracket. So credit to Ons. She's continued from that. She's, like you said.
By the way, you was right. Mike there confirming it was Bartley at Wimbledon 2013. Same year Murray won his first Wimbledon.
Oh, fantastic.
So good knowledge, Ben.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I remember this this name cropping up, though. I remember it was a bit of an anomaly, I think, Bartley winning one.
Yeah. Sorry, as you were saying?
Yeah, I just think she just hasn't dropped a set since Shelby Rogers, so I think she's going to be good for a set. Unfortunately for Jabeur, I feel that she's probably going to win the first set and then lose in 3.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go for. Anyway, but yeah, to talk a bit more about these two, they've got a head-to-head whilst JG just pops out and comes back. On the main draw, they've only played twice before, and Jabeur's won both of them. She won in Australian Open in 2020. That was by 2-1. And Garcia took the first set, and then Jabeur came through in 3. And then before that, they played at the US Open, and that was in 2019. And Jabeur won tiebreak in the first, 10-8, and then 6-2 in the second. But there were some other interesting statistics as well. But they were saying that they'd actually played more than twice because they played in the juniors, these two, against each other, I believe 4 times as well. And Caroline Garcia has never defeated Ons Jabeur. and I think it's 6-0 is their head-to-head record across all of their matches of all time that they've played. So really, really impressive from Ons Jabeur. And are we going to be ruling out somebody who just has somebody else's number? Because I feel like some of our predictions in the last round, in the quarterfinals, yeah, I mean, we got it wrong. I mean, we put our hands up. We got some right. I said Alcaraz in 5. Correct. Said Tiafoe, but in 4. Still got Tiafoe. Didn't get Khachanov. Didn't get Ruud. So half right. It's just one of these things now. I mean, I'm going to go against Ons Jabeur, but quite frankly, everybody knows it already. I've got Garcia in my bracket final. I've got a bet on Garcia to win the US Open. So I'm going with Garcia to go through to the final, 2-1. But Ons 6-love in the head-to-head, including juniors, scary. I don't think it's an easy match.
Yeah, let's move on to the other semi-final. And do we have a graphic for that? I believe we do. It's just next to it. There we go. Let's move over a little bit. This one's Iga Swiatek, world number 1, versus Aryna Sabalenka, who was world number 2 for some time. I'm not sure where she is now. Probably, is it 4 or 5 or something?
Yeah, it's just 6 coming in. So she's probably moved up a bit now.
And here we go. Only 2 victories. Oh, it's the same thing. I'm not going to read that. I'm being an idiot. So let's go through this. Physicality index. Iga wins that 4.39. Distance. Iga's covered more distance. Workload. More for Iga. High speed distance. More for Iga. Explosive movements. Listen, I'm just reading these off. I don't have a clue what any of them really mean, to be honest, apart from distance. I'm not sure how significant the others are, considering Ons Jabeur defeats Garcia in all of them. Doesn't mean much to me. Just looking at this one, though, Iga dominates Aryna Sabalenka, and potentially we're going to see the same on the court. I mean, I know you've got their head-to-head, so maybe we'll start with that because it seems to be quite one-sided for Iga, right? And especially the last match. I remember we covered it, I think, on the channel.
Yeah, in Rome.
It was just abysmal from Sabalenka's perspective. She didn't have a chance.
2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And she's not won a set from Iga in the last 3 meetings, and they are all this year, their meetings. So she's lost 6 sets to love. She played on hard court once. That was in Doha. She's not even come really close. She's not even got close to the end of the set. I don't think she's even won 4 in a set yet against Iga. So domination on every single of these 6 sets from Iga Swiatek. So it's a scary prospect. But Sabalenka, if anyone's got the game to beat, Iga, then I think it is someone like Sabalenka, because she is powerful. She's got a big serve. If it all goes together, surely she could win the whole thing.
Well, with Sabalenka, this is her 3rd semi-final at a slam. So the 2 prior, we remember them quite well. The Pliskova one at Wimbledon and the Leylah Fernandez one at Flushing Meadows last year. And we know Leylah Fernandez went on to the final, lost to Raducanu. But really, Sabalenka was favourite going into both of their matches. This one, she's not the favourite. And I think that is to her advantage. Saba going into a semi-final as a favourite is not good for her mind. I don't think that necessarily helps her. And it can make her just seize up at the big moments and the serve goes off a little bit. However, her coming in as an underdog is beneficial. The only problem is with all of this is the player she's going to be playing is Iga Swiatek, who she doesn't seem to like to play. Like we said on the head-to-head, the last 3 matches, Iga's demolished her. And the last one being she won 3 games. It was over in just over an hour. So hopefully we get to see more of a spectacle. I feel like we probably will, considering Iga's serve is not looking too good. I mean, against Pegula, I think in that second set, she got broke more or less every single service game, bar 1 or 2.
And the tie-break.
And the tie-break. So her serving's struggling massively. Saba, if the first serve goes in, we know it's one of the biggest serves on tour.
Yeah.
You'd think she's going to get a lot of return points. And with a big serve, this maybe is the best time to be playing an Iga. And that's why I'm actually fancying Saba to take at least a set. However, I don't think she's good value to win the match. And I think Iga will come through. And we're going to see more mental fragility from Sabalenka. So potentially, this is how I see it going. Iga takes the first set. Saba takes the second. Saba's going to be up a break in the third and still lose the third set.
Oh, mad. Oh, no. It's going to be signs of last year's
Yeah.
US Open when she was double faulting right at the end.
Yeah.
It was very sad to see. I'm going to go for something a bit different on this one because I've seen Iga faltering all the way through this tournament,
Ooh,
but
you're going
still
Saba, are you?
I know I've seen her faltering, but I think she's still getting the job done. And I think the fact Saba's barely done anything against her in the last 6 sets, I think it's going to continue. I think Iga does it in straight sets and 2 comfortable sets, like a 3 and a 2.
Nice. Well, we've got some stats here. So Jabeur is 6-love record versus Garcia on the juniors. I know you were speaking about that. Iga leads Sabalenka 3-1, winning all 3 this year in straight sets. So, well, we've not gone for them because we've both gone for Garcia Iga so far.
Yeah.
We've got another stat here saying Iga Swiatek is the first female player to reach 3 Grand Slam semi-finals in a single season since Venus Williams in 2017.
Wow.
Incessant. And listen,
So
do you know
good.
what I thought was crazy? I didn't realize Venus Williams made 3 semi-finals in 2017. I thought it was a lot earlier than that. I mean, that's not that long ago. It's like 5 years ago.
It's impressed. She had a good year that year.
Yeah.
I know. It's a bit mad to think that.
It's a good reminder. That's what the biggest first thing what I thought about. But of course, credit to Iga. That is a real phenomenal achievement. I think she's probably going to go one better next year and make maybe 4. Yeah, certainly capable.
She can definitely do it.
It's just the Wimbledon one, isn't it? Was tricky for her.
She can still do that, though. I feel like it's just going to take a little bit of time to just get used to it. She didn't have any warm-up tournaments before Wimbledon. I think maybe she needs them. Obviously, she was trying the Djokovic. Didn't really work, did it? It wasn't the same outcome. Djokovic got the title. Iga out to Cornet. So
I believe there's one more Iga here, and this is a quote from her saying, looking logically at the last tournaments, I just didn't know if this one was going to be possible for me to be consistent and to win so many matches in a row. But I feel like I've been playing better and better every week since the start of the swing.
I think she's hitting the ball better. I think her serving's not getting better, though. I don't know what happened in that last match. She was definitely... like the rallies were actually really good between her and Pegula. So you got to give Pegula some credit because she actually was hanging in rallies that other people wouldn't.
A little bit, but the serving wasn't good enough.
No, it was terrible. I mean, it was below par for both. But Saba, she only served 3 double faults in her last match against Pliskova, so that's a vast improvement from the Collins match where it was 11. So who knows if Saba's tidying up her serving? Be worried, Iga.
Yeah, we've got Tennis Italia and saying she somehow didn't even win a title in 2017. Venus was just in some amazing form. Yeah, that's true. Also went on to say, so sad to hear about the Queen. Condolences to your nation. Appreciate that. Tennis Italia, of course, it is a very sad day for the UK with the passing of the Queen. And it should just come as a big surprise. But hopefully we can try and spread some light on your day, covering some of the tennis. We will be live for the first semi-final from midnight, followed by the next one after that, which will be Iga Sabalenka. But let's move on to the men's. We've done our predictions for the women's. For the men's, the first semi-final we have here is Karen Khachanov, Casper Ruud. And I'm sort of dubbing this as the one probably nobody predicted.
Yeah, no one.
Alcaraz, Tiafoe, maybe not Tiafoe, but Alcaraz can make a case for this one. As a matchup, I don't think anyone would have thought Karen Khachanov is going to play Casper Ruud at the semi-finals. I mean, let me just clarify who was on this half of the draw and fill in the gaps of anyone I miss. Medvedev, Felix, Busta, Kyrgios, Tsitsipas,
Murray.
I wasn't going to include him. But there's some big names, and none of them made the semi-final. Instead, we've ended up with Khachanov, Ruud. I mean, who do you favour? It's a hard one. Neither of us have picked them in any predictions or...
No.
We've got it basically... Berrettini, sorry, is another big name on that section.
Yeah. Massive one.
What happened? What has happened here?
Khachanov's just played out of his skin, I think. He's had a really good tournament. He's on to 5 sets the last 2 matches. I'm still annoyed that Jack Draper got injured because I think he could have beaten Khachanov. I think this could have been a Draper tournament if he didn't get injured.
Brits was on that side. Cheers, Theo. Good shout.
just about. I mean, the way he's been playing, though, to beat Buster, who I had in my semi-final, I think, Buster, and then Kyrgios as well. It's back-to-back 5-setters. That's just so impressive. They're two really tough players on hard court. The form of Kyrgios, the American swing of Buster. Should we keep doubting Khachanov? That's what I want to ask you.
Well,
But,
so this is the world 31's career best result in slams. He's never progressed past beyond the third round at the US Open in 7 attempts and lost both of his previous quarterfinal matches in slams at the French Open in 2019 and Wimbledon last year. So this is great for him on the hard courts. He's never got this far in a slam. He's now one step away from a final. And this is probably a good opponent for him to play, I feel. I think Casper Ruud, out of everyone, isn't the worst. It could have been a lot worse. The head-to-head is 1-0 to Casper Ruud, but that was on the clay courts of Rome, so I wouldn't read too much into it. And it was 3 sets as well. Listen, part of me thinks Khachanov beats him, and I can't quite explain it, but if you look at Khachanov, who is beaten, Draper, Buster, Kyrgios, I'm just more impressed with that than Paul, Moutet, Berrettini.
Yeah. I mean, the Berrettini one sounds good, but then if you look at how Berrettini was sort of playing in the tournament, it sort of doesn't make it look quite as good because Berrettini went to 5 with Fokina, lost a set to Murray, lost a set to Grenier, and then Jarry, qualifier. So you expect him to get through that one. But yeah, it wasn't impressive from Berrettini this tournament, really. I think Casper Ruud caught an opportunity, took it with open arms, but he'll be fresher because we know that not Berrettini, Khachanov's been to 5 sets. He's went 3 hours 23 with Buster, and then with Kyrgios, 3 hours 41. So been on court for a long old time, and Casper Ruud got his done in 2.5 hours against Berrettini in his last match.
Yeah, on Casper Ruud, of course, if he is able to make the final, and Alcaraz doesn't make the final, he will be world number 1, as far as I'm aware. If he wins the whole thing, he's definitely world number 1. It doesn't quite sit right with me. Sorry to Lexi. I know you're a big Casper Ruud fan. I find it bizarre that Casper Ruud would be a world number 1. I don't think he is the best player in the world. But yeah, he did get to the final Roland Garros this year. He does play a lot of events. He's good on all of the surfaces. So it is what it is. I mean, you just got to congratulate him if he's able to make that feat. In this situation, though, I think it's a tough one, but I'm actually going to be backing Karen Khachanov to win in 5 sets. I'm actually having Khachanov in a Grand Slam final.
I'm actually not. I'm going to, as much as I don't want to go against him again, I am going to go against Khachanov again because I feel that Casper Ruud's seeing that number 1 and he's thinking...
Yeah, but that could be a bad thing, him seeing the number 1. Tsitsipas spoke about it in his defeat, the possibility of him being world number 1. Zverev, a few months back, maybe last year, I forget exactly when it was, he had I think maybe the start of the year, possibility of becoming world number 1, lost straight away. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulder becoming world number 1. And we've seen Tsitsipas crumble, we've seen Zverev crumble. I think Casper Ruud's the next to crumble, and that's why I'm having Khachanov win him.
I feel that Casper Ruud, he's only going to want to get it once. I don't know. Well, he's not going to only want to get it once, but I feel that if he gets it now, he can just say, "Oh, I got it." Like he's going to try and just grab it now while it's there.
Ruud's a bit of a 250 merchant, isn't he? Though he's just a 250 merchant. I don't know what he's doing here again.
If he grabs the final, imagine Alcaraz doesn't. Like all he has to do is just get past Khachanov. Khachanov's been on court for like nearly 7 hours, like in the last 2 matches. Can he wear him out? Can he maneuver him around? Can he find the weakness like he did with Berrettini, just planting it into the backhand? Will Khachanov serve well? Because if he doesn't, it's going to be a tough day at the office for Khachanov. I'm going Casper Ruud in 4.
Okay, so we're going head-to-head on this one. The bottom one, maybe my tie of the semi-finals, the one I'm really looking forward to. Carlos Alcaraz, Francis Tiafoe. 2 of the most impressive players this event across the men's and the women's. You put probably Caroline Garcia in there as well. I mean, Tiafoe, look what he's done. Just look what he's done. I don't think we need to really give him much of an introduction. He's beaten Rafael Nadal. And then in the next round, it was Rublev in straight sets.
I know.
It was really sad as well for Rublev. I don't know if you saw him on the court crying. He was clearly really emotional. Tiafoe's serving is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then you look at Alcaraz, and I mean, he's just the ready-made next big free player.
Yeah.
That's it. It just feels like he's the one to transition into the void, which Djokovic, Nadal, Federer is going to leave behind. And he's just simply incredible. Him and Sinner are special. Alcaraz got the better of him on this occasion. Is he going to be tired? That's my big worry. Francis Tiafoe's had relatively 2 easy matches. I know Rafa, you can say it wasn't an easy match, but he got it done in 4 sets and wasn't really in trouble too much. I thought he played the better from start to finish. Same against Rublev. Alcaraz has had 2 5-setters, one against the US Open champion in Cilic, the next one against Yannick Sinner. Over almost 10 hours on court. I think it's almost the same as the Godfather trilogy in time. Yeah. That was a tweet I read out earlier. And I mean, that is my big worry. Is his muscles going to be aching like crazy? Or is he young and he can just bounce back and be playing his best tennis? Because if Alcaraz plays his best tennis, I can't see no reason why he doesn't even defeat an informed Tiafoe. But we could be on with a real popcorn match, because if Tiafoe plays his best tennis, Alcaraz plays his best tennis, we're probably going to see another, like we saw yesterday with Sinner Alcaraz. We could be looking at another 5-hour match.
We could well be. I mean, I don't want to even be like a party pooper a little bit on an Alcaraz parade, but let's wind back to last year. Alcaraz played 5 sets against Tsitsipas. He followed it up in the next round with 5 sets against Swiatek, and then he couldn't play the next match because he went out injured against Felix. Yeah, now he's just played 5 sets against Cilic. He's played 5 sets against Sinner. And now he's facing Tiafoe, who is super fresh, like Felix was last year.
We've got Daniel in saying he's 19. He can wake up the next day and be 100%. When he was 18, he couldn't do that. So what's 1 year?
Well, this is the problem. And that's
he has come on leaps and bounds since last year, but still, I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, 5 hours, 15 minutes is not a normal amount of time to be on a tennis court. And he's played over 10 hours in the last 2 matches. That is going to take a toll on your body. And even if it doesn't take a toll on this next match, because if he goes 5 again, what's he going to be like for the final? The other person's going to be rubbing their hands together. This is going to be a...
Khachanov's going to win the US Open. What a story that would be.
Well, it just retires in the final after the first game. Can't walk anywhere.
Insane. But yeah, I've said my thoughts on this one. I don't know if you've got anything else to add. I mean, I can bring up some other stats because there's plenty here. In terms of a head-to-head, let's go through that.
Tiafoe leads it.
It's pretty interesting. They've played twice and Tiafoe's won both. But one of them was Hurlington, which is an exhibition. I'm not counting that. The other one was Barcelona, which is a bit surprising. In Spain, Tiafoe on the clay beat Alcaraz. So it's just a fascinating match. I mean, I can go through the summary here. And if you want to read a little bit about Alcaraz, you can see the US Open draw has 3 first-time semi-finalists, including Tiafoe. The last time any slam had 3 or more first-time semi-finalists was the French Open back in 2005, when Rafael Nadal won his maiden title at this level, defeating Roger Federer in the semi-final and Mariano Puerta in the final. And I remember that. So that is pretty insane that this is the first time since then.
That's mad.
Also, the 24-year-old American has never been the American world number 1, and he has a free ride on the main tour so far without any real pressure and expectation on his shoulders. However, it's not the case anymore, as he now starts to carry a lot of the hopes of the USA. They're waiting for a champion in New York since Andy Roddick in 2003. He is, in fact, the first American to reach the semi-final of this tournament since 2006, Andy Roddick defeating Mikhail Yuzny. So the Americans are really going to get behind Tiafoe. They've not had an American in the semi-final for some time. I thought Taylor Fritz was going to be that guy. Instead, it's Francis Tiafoe.
That's pretty mad, isn't it? Like, I mean, Fritz would be sort of the natural one that you'd probably go to. The draw didn't look too bad for him. You thought
had him in the final.
Exactly. But then Tiafoe, you thought that's a bit of a nightmare. He's got Rafa on his side. I couldn't see him going further than that. And he's proved everybody wrong and destroyed Rublev in straight sets. So fresh as a fiddle. Predictions time, JG.
Well, just quickly, with Alcaraz, I don't know if we spoke about it, but I said it earlier. He's the youngest semi-finalist at the US Open since Pete Sampras, 1990, who defeated McEnroe in the semi-final and won the title. And he's the youngest in Slam since his idol and former world number one Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros 2005.
Wow.
So big company he's in.
It's just amazing. I'm just so happy that he's doing it at the age he is as well. It's just really refreshing. I was sad for Sinner because we'd be saying the same thing about Sinner if he was there as well right now, because
definitely.
he was playing so well.
Well, I felt that it's a shame that wasn't the final. I said it on the news video. It felt like a final, and there didn't really deserve to be any losers. But on this occasion, Sinner did lose. The one thing it does bode well for is if Alcaraz is to go to 5 sets with Tiafoe, which is a possibility, he's extremely good in 5 sets. Yeah. He's got a record of 7 wins, 1 loss in 5-set matches in slams.
It's amazing.
The only defeat coming against Berrettini at the Australian Open.
True. That was close, though.
Yeah.
Very, very close. But he was still sort of just finding his feet, though, on the on the Grand Slam level. And I was impressed he even went to 5 with Berrettini then. But yeah, let's get some predictions in. Come on. Let us know yours in the live chat as well, and in the comment section if you're watching this after the fact. Here we go. Drum roll, please. I'll build it up. Something clicked yesterday with that amazing match. I think that we saw the coming of age.
Are you playing it safe again, man?
We saw the coming of age. We saw a man growing, a legend born. Carlos Alcaraz has now spotted his opportunity to win his first Grand Slam title. And he, for me, he's the best player left in the draw. So if he doesn't take this opportunity, he'd be a madman not to. So I've got him winning, and I think it will be in 4 sets.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I was also going to go Carlos Alcaraz in 4, which maybe could be the worst thing ever that we agree on something, because last time we agreed on a prediction, it was Rafael Nadal to win the US Open and Berrettini. And look what happened there. They both went out straight after. So, well, Berrettini went out straight after. Rafa went out against Tiafoe. So I'm a bit concerned that we've gone for the exact same here, but I'm going to stick with my guns. That was what I had before we started this video, and that's what I'm going to stick with right now. So Carlos Alcaraz, the number 3 seed, is going to secure world number 1 status and win against Tiafoe.
Amazing. Can't wait to see it. I mean, hopefully just they perform to the best of their ability and the crowd gets a real show. That's all I'm after in that match, because there aren't going to be any losers, that's for sure. Yep. So, well, that's it. That's the semi-final predictions and preview done and dusted. Now onto the matches. They kick off in about 20 to 30 minutes time. Make sure to join us for Ons Jabeur, Caroline Garcia, the first semi-final.
Yeah, it's very sad we're coming to the end of the US Open, but thanks everyone for helping us reach 45,000 subscribers. If you haven't already, hit that button, subscribe if you are new. And do we still have the fireworks on here?
I hope so.
I think we do. Woo! Anyway, thanks, guys, and we'll see you for the matches very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.